pair of blocks and we'll meet back up on the mat. Come into a comfortable seated position. Go ahead and close your eyes and begin to focus on your breath. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Now slowly start to circle your head, dropping your right ear over to your right shoulder, sweeping your chin across your chest all the way over to the other side. Making the movements as slow or as big or as small as you need. Continuing to let your breath flow freely and fully. And start to change direction, letting your ear drop down to your left shoulder. And just moving slowly, and just paying attention to what you're feeling as you circle your head from side to side and around. And then lift your head back up. And now we're going to start to look over to the left and to the right. Looking as far over as feels comfortable in your neck. You can choose to keep your eyes closed here or open your eyes. Make sure that you're not rotating your spine or your shoulders. You're keeping it isolated to just your neck. And the next time you bring your chin over to your right shoulder, just drop your chin down towards your chest and just feel a slightly different stretch towards the back of the neck. Stay there for one full breath and then change sides. If at any point in time during the practice today you feel the need to hold the stretch a little bit longer or come out of it sooner, know that you have the freedom to do so. Take an inhale, bring your arms up, interlace your fingers and clasp your hands to the back of your head. As you inhale here, you're going to press your head into your palms and lift your chest up. Try not to allow your rib cage to flare or your lower back arch to deepen. Each time you inhale, see if you can lift up your chest a little bit further, and exhale, pressing the back of your head into your palms. Then come back to center and you're going to tuck your chin in towards your chest and flex forward just the mid-upper back, bringing your elbows forward, feeling a wonderful stretch through the shoulder blades and the traps. Then come back to center, moving into a side bend, inhaling and then exhaling, coming over to your left side, inhaling to come back to center and over to your right. Once again, being mindful to isolate this movement to your rib cage. Try not to let your sitting bones get light on your block or your mat. You want to keep them evenly weighted. And continue to breathe deeply into your rib cage as you bend from side to side. Relaxing through your shoulders, your neck, and your jaw. Moving into rotation, take an inhale here in the center and exhale. Just gently twist over to your left and to your right. Not moving too far. Once again, being really aware of your sitting bones and your pelvis, keeping everything. Sorry, just heard Sadie running. She's being really playful. And then one more each side and then come back to center. Remove your block and place it off to the side and make your way onto your hands and knees. Walking your wrists back so that they're underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. Spreading your fingers nice and wide, pressing into the bridge of your hand as well as your fingertips. And then start to move through our cat and cow. Inhaling as you lift your sitting bones up and your heart center reaches forward. Exhaling to round your spine, bringing your pubic bone towards your belly button. This is a great opportunity to move in whatever way feels really good for your body. If you're doing this in the morning, this is a great chance to warm up your spine, warm up your body, your joints, getting any of the stiffness out of your body. Making circles is a great way to warm up your wrists as well. It helps to redistribute your weight so you can get that tactile feedback. So making circles in both directions or shifting yourself forward and back just finding what feels good. And then slowly make your way back to center. If your toes were tucked under, untuck them now and let your hips come back to your heels for extended child's pose. This is a great position to come into if you need to take a break. On our next inhalation, you're going to shift your body weight forward, coming into a kneeling plank. Exhale as you bend your elbows to the lower into a kneeling chaturanga. Inhale to press yourself back up to the kneeling plank, and exhale into extended child's pose. This is modified half series. This is an excellent sequence for building strength as well as creating heat in your body. So you can move back and forth through these positions, following your breath. Do as many or as few as you like. Inhaling to shift forward, exhaling to lower, inhaling to press back up, and exhaling to sit back into extended child's pose. Making sure that you are toning your glutes, toning your legs, pulling your ribs in, and being mindful of avoiding having your shoulders creep up towards your ears. So come back to center, tuck your toes under as we prepare for sunbird. Inhaling to lift your right leg up towards the ceiling as you reach your heart center forward. Exhaling to bring your knee towards your forehead. I often say, think of your cat-cow movement, and we're just adding hip extension to this. So it's the same cat-cow, we're just moving the leg. So exhaling to come into your cat pose, if you will, bringing your knee to your forehead, and inhaling to extend through the hip, reaching the sole of your right foot up to the ceiling as you bring your heart center forward. Really focus on using your glutes and hamstrings here. Keep pressing into your fingertips, the bridge of your hand. Extend your left arm out, turn your palm to face outward. Reach around and grab the ankle. Take an inhale and try to straighten out your right leg by kicking into your hand. Pull your ribs in for tiger pose. Slowly release, engaging your hamstring to prevent yourself from slingshotting your leg away from you. Place your knee down and let's change sides. Exhaling to round, bring your knee towards your forehead. They do not actually have to meet. You're just bringing them in that general direction. Matching the movement with your breath. Exhaling to round, inhaling to extend. Holding it here, reaching your right arm forward, turning your palm to face out, grabbing a hold of the outside of your ankle. Take an inhale, kick into your hand. Exhale, draw your ribs in. Hold it for one full breath in, one full breath out, maybe even two, and then slowly release. Uncurling your toes and sitting back here just to take a moment to reconnect with the breath in extended child's pose. Shifting forward, tucking your toes, lifting your knees off and pressing your heels down for downward facing dog. And you can take a few rounds of marching in place here just to stretch out the back of your legs. And just take a moment to get used to distributing your weight in this way. We're going to come into a little side bend here. So I want you to pivot on the balls of your feet and drop your heels over to your right. Try to keep your weight equally distributed into both palms here. Come back to center and then drop your heels over to the left. Placing a bit more weight into your right hand. Come back to center, lift your gaze, and you can take a big step or you can hop to the top of your mat into a forward fold. Shaking your head out no, or nodding your head yes. You're letting go of any tension you might be holding on to the neck and the shoulders. Take an inhale and slowly reverse swan dive all the way up to stand, and exhaling, bringing your hands to your heart center. Getting ready to move into our sun salutations, and feel free to modify as you need, as you will see as I do here as we begin. Take an inhale and circle your arms around and up, and exhale, hinging at your hips, come into a forward fold. On your next in-breath, step your right foot to the back of your mat, placing your knee down if you wish, and reaching your arms up towards the ceiling. Exhaling to plant your palms and step back into child's pose. Feel free to come into downward facing dog here. Inhaling into your plank, exhaling into your chaturanga. Inhaling, pulling your heart center through for cobra pose. Exhaling to press back into extended child's pose or downward facing dog. Take an inhale as you step your right foot to the top of your mat, helping it forward if it doesn't quite get there, making sure your knee is over your heel. Reach both arms up, pulling your ribs in. Rest your fingertips on the floor and stepping forward into your forward fold. Remember, you can bend your knees as much as you need to here. Inhale to reach all the way up. And exhale, sitting back into chair pose. Hello there, Miko. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, hinging at your hips, forward fold. Inhaling to step your left foot to the back of your mat, placing your knee down. Draw your inner thighs towards each other here to feel more stability in your lunge. Reach your fingertips up. Exhale to plant your palms and step back into child's pose or take downward facing dog. You can choose to mix it up as you please. Shifting forward into your plank, shoulders away from your ears as you lower into your chaturanga. Inhaling into cobra pose, or perhaps you take upward facing dog. Exhaling to press up and back into child's pose or downward facing dog. On your next inhalation, stepping your left foot to the top of your mat by your thumb. Draw your ribs in, reach your arms up. Maybe try looking up. Exhale to step your right foot forward, coming into your forward fold. Inhaling, slowly come all the way up to a standing position. Exhaling, hinging at your hips, finding chair pose. Inhale, stand tall, reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step your right foot, big step back to the back of your mat. Reach your arms up. Remember, you can choose to modify here. Plant your palms and step back into downward facing dog. Just got to move Miko's tail. Inhaling, shifting forward into a plank. Lower into your chaturanga. Inhaling into upward facing dog. Cobra pose is also there for you. Exhaling to downward facing dog. And as you inhale, stepping your right foot to the top of your mat by your thumb. You can bend your left knee to take any pressure you might be feeling in your lower back. Stepping forward as you exhale into your forward fold. Taking an inhale and slowly come all the way up to stand. Exhaling, sitting back into chair pose. Inhale, reach up, stand tall. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, step in your left foot to the back of your mat. Find your lunge. Exhale, stepping back into downward facing dog. Inhaling, plank pose. Shoulders are tracking over wrists, shoulders back as you lower into chaturanga. Inhaling, taking upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, hips to the ceiling for downward facing dog. Inhaling to step your left foot to the top of your mat. Pull your ribs in. Remember, bending your back knee if you need to. Exhaling to step your right foot forward, coming into your forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up to a standing position. Exhale, hinging at your hips, sitting back, chair pose. Inhale, reach up, stand tall. Exhaling, hands to heart. Take a moment here to fix your wardrobe, reconnect with your breath. Releasing your hands by your side, preparing for lateral flexion. Take an inhale as you reach your left fingertips up towards the ceiling and exhaling, reaching over to your right side. You can choose to look up towards the ceiling if that feels okay in your neck, or perhaps you shift your gaze and look down towards the floor, or keep your gaze looking forward. Keeping your weight heavy in both feet, especially your left foot. Inhaling back through center, exhaling to release, changing sides. Inhale, lengthen out of your waist as you reach your right fingertips up towards the ceiling, and exhale as you reach over to your left side. I like to place my hand on my ribs sometimes to give me feedback or to guide me as to where to play, or to help me figure out where to breathe. As a guide, so placing your hand on your rib cage, breathe into the right side of your ribs, feel the muscles stretch between the ribs. Take an inhale, reach back up to center. Exhale to let it go. Preparing for chest expansion. Interlace your fingers. A little bit of a bend in the knee. Inhale as you lift your chest up, and exhale, start to reach your knuckles away from you. Be mindful to keep pulling your ribs in and not allowing your lower back arch to deepen. So you're lifting your chest up, stretching your front body, just to get a little bit of a back bend here. And now exhale, hinge at your hips, allow your belly to rest on the top of your thighs, reaching your fingers or your knuckles up and over for a shoulder stretch. Shake your head out no, nod your head yes. No tension in the neck or the shoulders. Take another big breath in and exhale, hold it. Then slowly release. Drop your hips all the way down, coming into a deep squat and reach your fingertips forward. Take an inhale, lift up, exhale, fold. Inhale, come into your flat back or monkey pose, placing your palms on your shins, and exhale to fold. You can step or you can jump back into downward facing dog. Feet are at hip distance, a little bit of a bend in the knee. Inhale to sweep your right leg up, and as you exhale, step your right foot to the top of your mat on the outside of your right thumb. For lizard pose, grab a block. You're going to place a block underneath your left knee. If you have a foam block, it would be more comfortable than the cork block that I have here. But using the block here will help to hopefully make it a bit easier for you to reach your foot once we come into the bind. And remember, these postures are all optional. You can just stay in your regular lizard pose. But if you want to get a nice quad stretch here, which is really important for opening up the front body for back bending, go ahead and bring your right arm around and grab the inside of your left ankle. Draw your right shoulder blade back and down, lift your heart up. You could always use a strap here. Stay here for 3 breaths. Engage in your hamstrings, slowly release your foot down to the floor. Move your block out of the way. Plant your palms. Bend your elbows as you inhale, and as you exhale, push yourself up and back into 3-legged dog. Take another inhale here, and as you exhale, this time step in your right foot by your right thumb. Adjusting as you need, making sure you're still at hip distance here. Draw your inner thighs in towards each other, reach your arms up, interlace your fingers, and place your hands to the back of your head. Elbows are facing slightly forward. Take an inhale, lift your chest up, stretching your front body. Exhale, press the back of your head into your palms. Keep pulling your ribs in. Keep drawing your inner thighs towards each other and activate your glutes, your butt really strongly here to give you stability. Keep inhaling and lifting up out of the waist, lengthening up the side body, lifting up your back ribs. Exhale, reach to the back. Inhale, release the bind. Exhale, plant your palms and step back, downward facing dog. Take an inhale and shift your body weight forward, finding plank pose. Remember, you're going to modify. I certainly am here. Lower into your chaturanga. Then inhaling into cobra or taking upward facing dog. Exhale to push up and back into downward facing dog. Feel free to rest here if you need to. That's the beauty of doing yoga with me online. You can always pause and jump back when you're ready. Inhale, left leg lifts. And now step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Placing your block underneath your right knee. Drawing your heart center forward. Drawing your inner thighs towards each other. Maybe find a little bit of movement here in lizard pose, just opening up and loosening up through the hips. And then come into stillness, bending your right knee, reaching around with your left hand to grab a hold of the ankle. Pulling the heel towards your bum, drawing your left shoulder blade back and down, lifting your heart up. Keep hugging into your midline. Deep, long inhales and exhales. And flexing the ankle. And slowly, very carefully releasing your right foot to the floor. Remove your block out of the way. Get ready to transition into 3-legged dog. Inhale, bend your elbows. Exhale, push yourself up and back into 3-legged dog. Inhaling here, and as you exhale, stepping your left foot by your left thumb. Just bending your right knee, interlacing your fingers. Whoops, lost my balance for a second there. Clasping your hands to the back of your head, relaxing through the shoulders and the neck. Inhale, start to lift up. Lift your heart up towards the ceiling. Exhale, press the back of your head into your palms. Take another inhale, lift up, lengthen, and exhale once again. This is a wonderful stretch through the entire front body. Your hip flexors are getting a wonderful stretch. Feels really good. And the more you can draw your inner thighs towards each other and squeeze your glutes, contract your butt muscles, and pull your ribs in to find that core stability, the better you'll feel here. Inhale to release. Exhale, plant your palms and step back to downward facing dog. I may not have said it before, but the vinyasa is optional. You can choose to skip it or modify as you see fit. Shifting forward into plank, lower into your chaturanga. Inhaling to take upward facing dog or find cobra. Exhale, press your hips up and back, find downward facing dog. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. So I'm just moving my blocks out of the way so I have enough room, well, hopefully. Just shift over a little bit on over to the right side. Inhale, sweep your right leg up. Exhale, shift your body weight forward into a plank. Bring your knee to your forehead. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, knee comes forward. We're going to do about 5 of these. And on the 6th one, bend your knees, stacking your right hip. Start to let your foot come all the way over. Release in your right hand and coming into wild thing. Lifting your hips up. Pausing here for full breath in. Taking a look at your mat, planting your right palm and coming back over into three-legged dog. And now step in your right foot by your right thumb, dropping your left heel, coming into warrior two. That was fast. Holding your warrior two here, making sure that your heels align. Now place your hands on your hips and notice whether your hips are level or if maybe one seems higher than the next. If your right hip seems like it's lower than the left, lift your right hip up so they're both level. Turn your right palm to face up. Take an inhale, exhale, reverse your warrior. Maintaining the lunge in the legs. Resting your left hand lightly on your back leg. Inhale through warrior two. Exhale to cartwheel your hands down. Plant your left palm. Inhale, reach your right arm forward and exhale, open up your chest to the inside of your right thigh. Hug into your midline strongly here. Keep breathing deeply. Lift your left inner thigh up. Place your left knee down and kickstand your left foot off your mat. Sweep your right leg around, grab a hold of your ankle. Draw your shoulder back. Try to extend through your knee. Lift your heart up for a modified balancing half moon. Slowly release. Plant your palms, plant your feet, and lift up into downward facing dog. Inhale, shifting forward into your plank. Lower into your chaturanga. Inhaling into upward facing dog or cobra pose. Exhaling, pressing your hips up and back. Find downward facing dog. Moving on to the second side. Inhale, sweeping your left leg up. Exhale, bringing your knee to your forehead. So I'm doing it on this side. But on the other side, I kind of just shifted forward into plank. Either one is great. Both of them will get you some wonderful core activation. Seem to be mixing it up here too. So you know me, I like to give you options. So find the one that serves you best. Either way, you're shifting forward into a plank. Now pausing here, bending the left knee and flipping over into wild thing. You want to be mindful not to step your foot too far away from your mat because it makes it a little bit more challenging to find stability. Now slowly come back into your three-legged dog and now step your left foot to the top of your mat by your thumb, dropping your right heel and coming up into warrior two. Holding your warrior two here, taking a big breath in and a big breath out. Legs are active, glutes are active, ribs are drawing in towards each other. Take an inhale here and exhale to reverse your warrior. This time your right hand rests lightly on your back leg and your left arms are reaching up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale here as you pass through warrior two. Exhale, dropping your right hand, lower your hips, coming into your twisted lunge. Take an inhale, sweep your left arm forward, and as you exhale, spiral your heart to the inside of your left thigh. Getting ready to transition into our modified balancing half moon. Drop your right knee, kickstand your foot off the floor, sweep your left hand around, bend your knee, grab a hold of your left ankle. Take an inhale, try to extend your left leg, kick, 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 and draw your left shoulder blade back, lift your heart up. Hold it here for one big breath in, one big breath out, then slowly release. And find downward facing dog. Inhale, plank pose, or you can choose to rest. Exhale, lower into your chaturanga, inhaling into upward facing dog or cobra pose. Exhale, press your hips up and back, finding child's pose. Take a few moments here to reconnect with your breath. Maybe have a sip of water. And slowing the breath down. And starting to come up. You're going to make your way onto your belly, preparing for bow pose. So your legs are extended. You're resting your chin on your mat, arms are by your side. You want to maintain hip distance with your legs here. So bending your knees. If you're taking care of your knees, you want to flex your ankles. You can also use the strap for this. So you're pressing your hip points down and starting to create a little bit of space between the heels and the bum. Take an inhale and start to kick into your hands, and exhale to hold. So I'm a rocking bow. As I inhale, I start to rock back and forth. This actually reminds me of rocking in Pilates. So you're lifting your knees up, reaching your heels up towards the ceiling. Relax your shoulders. I like to say pretend there's a bowl or two bowls in front of your shoulders. You want to drop your shoulders into the bowl. So we're transitioning into side bow, which is a lot of fun. You're going to take a big breath in here, and as you exhale, roll onto your right side. Hold it here for a few breaths in and a few breaths out. Take an inhale, exhale back to center. Take another inhale and exhale over to the other side. I was a bit too close to the wall here. So when you're practicing, make sure you're not too close to the wall. Take a big breath in, and your exhalation to roll back onto the belly. Taking one more inhale here, and exhale to slowly, slowly release. Making a pillow with your hands and placing your forehead on the back of your hands. You can wiggle your legs a little bit wider than hip distance, and then bend your knees and slowly windshield wiper your legs from side to side, just to release your lower back. Bringing your feet in towards each other, sliding your hands back by your chest. Then extend your legs. You're going to push yourself up into a kneeling plank and then slowly make your way into downward facing dog. Just taking a moment here in downward facing dog. Maybe shifting your hips from side to side. Lift your gaze. You're going to bring your feet to the front of your mat and find a seat. So get comfortable. Extend your legs fully. You do want your toes and your knees to be facing up. You're making sure you move. Sadie is really bugging out today, and Miko's going after her. Oh boy. So we're coming into Dandasana. So you're extending the legs out in front of you. You're squeezing, hugging all the muscles to the bones. Hands are by your side. You're pressing your palms strongly into the floor, and you're lifting your chest up. It should feel as though you could lift yourself up into an L-sit. So very, very strong, very active, very powerful pose. But even though the pose is strong and powerful, the breath, you want to make sure the breath is easy and flowing effortlessly. And then slowly release. So bend your right knee. You're going to place your left hand on the sole of your right foot and support your right knee with your right hand. So I want you to stir the pot here. So imagine that your hip socket is a bowl and your thigh bone is a spoon. So you're just circling it around, making sure you cross your midline. You're going to do about 3 of these circles in both directions, then come back to center. And then guide your right heel to your outer left hip and allow your knee to relax. So this is half cow face. So this may be where you stay today, or you can progress into full cow face. But let's start here. Take an inhale, sweep your fingertips up, and as you exhale, hinge at your hips, maintaining a nice long spine. You will feel this stretch perhaps in your outer right hip. It may not be as intense, but you're still going to feel a stretch. Well, most of us will. Certainly I do. Although I've had many students who don't feel much of a stretch in this position at all. But my hips tend to be a little bit tight. So you can stay here and continue to focus on your breath, or you can choose to take it to the full cow face. Remember I said this can progress. So just shift your weight over and bend your bottom knee and bring your ankle to your outer right hip. So your knees are going to stack or come close to being stacked one on top of the other. You could also choose to try this by sitting up on a yoga block, but making sure that both of your sitting bones are heavily weighted on the block. Same thing here. So if you bent your bottom knee and your sitting bones weren't stacked or resting on the mat, you would go back to the half cow face. So again, you're inhaling, lengthening through the spine, and as you exhale, you're hinging at your hip. Now, how far you hinge forward in this, or how far you fold, is entirely up to you. The more you can reach your heart center forward and hinge forward, the more intense the stretch. Now we're going to add a twist, so take a big breath in and exhale to release. Bring your palms to meet. Take an inhale, exhale, pull your ribs in and start to twist over to your right. Then you can rest your elbow or your tricep on the outside of your right thigh. Press your palms into each other. Draw your right shoulder blade back, reaching your left shoulder blade forward to deepen your twist. Just hold it here, breathing in deeply and fully. When you're ready to release, you take a big breath in, and your exhalation, you slowly unwind from your belly, your ribs, your chest, and lastly, the neck and head. Good. So carefully untangle yourself, I like to say, and we'll move on to the second side. Just stretch your legs out, give your knees a little rub, maybe a little bit of a shake. So we will start with stirring the pot. So you're bending your left knee this time and supporting your knee with your left hand. Your right hand is holding the sole of your left foot. And these circles can be as big or as small, just as long as you're getting full movement through the head of the thigh bone in the hip socket. 3 circles in both directions. And then carefully guiding your foot to the outer, your ankle to the outer right hip. So you'll be on the blade side edge of your foot, not onto the sole of the foot. You inhale to reach your fingertips up and exhale to hinge. Maintaining a nice long spine. I'm just going to turn sideways here so you can see what I mean about the difference between a hinge and maintaining a long spine versus rounding your spine. So this is rounding, this is having a nice long hinge, so your lower back arch is present. See? So when you round your spine, you take away the stretch. But when you can lift your heart center up and forward, keeping your spine long, thus hinging, as I just did there, you'd feel more of the stretch and it's better alignment. So transitioning into the full cow face, remember you can choose to stay with the half. Grab your block. And once again, hinging forward, not rounding. So getting ready to move into our twist. You could stay here longer if you wish. I'm really feeling this. I actually feel it more on this side than I did on the other side. So sometimes I do like to stay here a little bit longer. But getting ready for a twist, as I mentioned, bringing your hands to meet at the heart center, taking an inhale and exhaling, pulling your ribs in as you rotate over to your left. Take another inhale and exhale, rotate to your left. And then resting your elbow on the outside of the thigh, pressing your palms into each other. This time you're reaching your right shoulder blade forward for protraction as you draw your left shoulder blade back for retraction, just to deepen the twist a little bit. You want to avoid cranking yourself into the rotation here. You're just using the elbow on the thigh for a little leverage to hold the position. And when you're ready to release, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, you're moving from the belly, your ribs, and lastly the chest and neck and head. So very carefully untangle the body, untangle your legs. We're getting ready to lie down, so you want to just take a look back and just make sure you've got enough room. I do love to massage the legs after doing cow face pose and my knees. So taking a look back, making sure you have enough space. If you don't, just scoot forward a little bit and then come all the way down onto your back and just draw your knees in here. Give yourself a gentle hug. And if you are taking care of your knees, if they're sensitive to a deep, significantly deep bend, you want to avoid holding on to the shins here. You can hold on to just above just below your knee joint, or stick with holding on to the back of the thighs. You can rock a little bit from side to side, or maybe draw some circles. Feels kind of nice on your lower back and sacrum. So no yoga practice would be complete without a little bit of core. So interlace your fingers around the back of your head, lift your head and shoulders up, extend both legs up to the ceiling, squeeze them together. Inhaling to lower your legs, exhaling to lift them back up. Now you're going to lower your legs as low as you can maintain full contact of your lower back on your mat. I have to be honest, I forgot how many reps I did here, but you can go for 2 sets of 10 or 1 set of 20. But you're reaching your toes up, you're squeezing your legs together, lifting your kneecaps up. And now we're going to come back to center and scissor your legs. Nice small little scissors, legs are nice and straight, lowering and lifting as you go. Try for 30 reps. Again, head and shoulders are lifted, ribs are pulling in, lower back is supported on the mat. Now extend your arms above your head, reach your legs away from you for a hollow hold. Keep holding it. Keep squeezing everything together. And release. Head and shoulders down, knees into chest. Well done. So from here, we're going to ease into bridge pose, and you can choose to keep it energetic or a little bit more active and just press into your feet, lift your hips up. Your arms will stay by your side. You can even walk your shoulders down and under to get a little bit more of a back bend. Or we can continue with stretching out the entire front body and getting your blocks and stacking them underneath you for a more restorative posture. So I'm going to go grab my blocks. Slide one on top of the other, or you can choose to just use one. The choice is yours. You could actually just keep your knees bent here even with the blocks stacked, but I wanted to get the full front body stretch, so I'm going to stretch my legs all the way out. Arms can come above the head into cowboy surrender or goalpost arms. Adjust as you need here. Make sure that you're not overarching too much in your lower back. You want to support the lower back and sacrum. So I did fidget quite a bit here. You might need to fidget quite a bit too to find that sweet spot, I like to call it. And once you do, settle in and focus on your breath. There I go again, tweaking. I think I just might have it now. You can stay here for as long as you need. And then you can bring one knee into the chest for a little squeeze. And then the other knee changing sides. You could choose to move into legs up the wall here. Supported legs up the wall. Just bring both knees in and then extend your legs up towards the ceiling. But I am ready for a twist and Shavasana. So remove your blocks carefully. Scoot your bum all the way over to one side so that you can lower yourself onto your hip. Allow your knees to follow. In this case, I've scooted my bum over to the left and lowered myself onto my right hip, as well as my knees. And you can look in whichever direction feels most comfortable for your neck here. On your next inhalation, make your way back through center. And then changing sides. Scooting your bum all the way over to the right, lowering yourself fully onto your left hip. Allowing your knees to come over to your left. Gaze is whichever direction feels most comfortable for your neck. So you can look over to your right, over to your left, or maybe up towards the ceiling. Breathing deeply and fully. Allowing yourself to sink into the posture and enjoy the twist. And then slowly make your way back to center. You can extend your legs fully, 1 foot to each corner of your mat. Arms slightly away from your body with your palms facing up. Take a big breath in and exhale fully. You are now in final relaxation or Shavasana. You can choose to stay here for as long as you need. Or if you need to get on with your day, you can slowly start to make your way up, coming into a comfortable seated position. Bringing your knees into your chest. Coming onto your right side. Just pausing here for a moment. And using your left hand to press yourself up. Grabbing your block, having a seat. Getting comfy here. Let's take a few moments to center. I want to thank you all so much for sharing your energy with me and trusting me to guide you through your practice today. Be free, be true, and always be you. Namaste. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the class. Have a wonderful day.